I think that some people kind of realize or have some sort of realization when they're a little younger that they're funny because they make other people laugh. And then at some point you start saying, look, man, why am I giving away all these jokes for free? You know what I'm saying? Let me make a profit off of it. I think the ultimate determining factor was when my last job was in the corporate world working in computers. And it was my job to do a lot of training for incoming employees. And I used to just use that time to make them all laugh as well as learn. So I think that kind of stuck with me. And a bunch of my coworkers would say, look, bro, you're in the wrong business. You need to be trying comedy. And I just kept like, whatever. But then eventually, after like 3 or 4 years, I was like, let me go ahead and try it. And I tried it once, and I've been doing it ever since. Exhilarating. It was liberating, and it was the one thing that I didn't expect was it to be so therapeutic. Like it gave me an outlet, and also, everybody doesn't have a completely trustworthy friend that they can just expose their inner emotions to. And I honestly feel like every time I get on stage, I have an audience for them. So that the therapeutic aspect of it is one that I tend to be the most fond of. Chris Rock's Bigger, Blacker, Better was one of the greatest comedy specials in my opinion, mainly because Chris Rock has an ability to take something political that should be controversial and should be polarizing and make it funny and uniting. And I learned a lot from that. Another one that I loved was Sinbad. One of Sinbad's first TV specials that I could watch with my family because they're my mom and pops. They're all ministers. They're very religious. So that was cool to be able to watch a guy. And the thing about Sinbad is he's got punchlines, but he's also very energetic, funny, which I like to be. I don't want to just stand still in one place. And then one of the other, I don't even call this a special. I just call this a CD. Adam Sandler's CD I used to listen to in high school. He used to just make these skits, like the severe beating of a Spanish teacher, or the severe beating of a bus driver. And I just thought it was so creative for him to be able to make a CD with different tracks, but everything on it is hilarious. And I mean, he wasn't black or anything like that, but I could still relate, and I thought it was hilarious. And I watched him catapult himself into the movies and into the shows based off that first CD, so that gave me hope as well. So I honestly say that those three are a close runner. Saturday Night Live is clearly the pinnacle. Especially as of late, since they've become so much more diverse. There was a time in Saturday Night Live when there was, this may not be an issue for some people, but as a young black kid growing up, thinking about the career of comedy, we noticed that there was always only one black person on the staff. And it was always just that one black person. And then as of late, they actually have integrated to where there's there's actually 2 black dudes and 2 black girls, and that's the most I've ever seen on there. And I think that they are even more funny because of it, because it gives them more perspective on different things that they may not necessarily have had an open eye to before they had that much. So I honestly put them at the pinnacle. But to be frank, the bulk of the most funny skits nowadays are just online. Instagram, Vine, Facebook, YouTube. There are comedians that aren't even really comedians, that just make funny skits. They get booked for thousands upon thousands of dollars because the following that they have from the skits that they do on their Instagram pages is it's so huge. And they're legitimately funny. People have their own media base, so they don't have to necessarily go to NBC, ABC, CBS to be known because so many eyeballs see them off of their social networking sites. So I think that SNL, of course, is a traditional pinnacle, but the new skit shows are actually just Instagram and people that you'll find on the internet. The first easy answer would be a guy named, there's a guy that I really am fond of, a hero in my his name is Tony Roberts. He's not that well known in the mainstream community, but he's one of the first comedians that I've seen that is almost 100% energy. Just energy, and I try to be the same. Well, I don't try to be the same. I find myself just the same way. And
it's just encouraging to see, and I feel like we would be able to work well together because I hear it too often that I'm so energetic that some comics don't want to have to go after me because they don't have to match my energy. So I know I wouldn't have to worry about that. Now on the flip side of that, he's not as well known, even though he is in the urban community. So our tour dates may not be as plentiful as others. So if I was to have another wish for somebody, that I'd probably, of course, choose Kevin Hart, man. I mean, this dude is the ultimate grinder. He is the template right now. He is showing everybody, even though there are people that say he's not that funny, you cannot downplay his grind. He's everywhere, all the time. And that's the type of person I'd like to model myself after. At least the grind. Not his comedy, but the grind itself. TV, movies, books, TV shows, internet. King of all media in the urban circuit when it comes to comedy. So Kevin Hart would have to be there. I gotta put Chris Rock in there. I gotta put Richard Pryor in there. I'm gonna go ahead and put Adam Sandler in there. I think he's hilarious. I just think he's anybody who can pick up a guitar and make jokes and write songs. I think it's really funny. So that's 3. Stand up, guys. Ah man, those other 2 are. You know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb and I want to say Eric Myers, who's not famous yet. He's a local celebrity, but this guy is so funny. Eric Myers. I don't think you may not have ever heard of him, but he's on my top 5 list. And who was the last one? I want to say. I'm going to go ahead and say Cedric the Entertainer. And the reason I like Cedric, everybody that I named, I feel like I have a hint of their comedy in me. With Chris Rock, I try to do some things that are political, that are uncomfortable, but try to make them funny. Adam Sandler, I try to sing songs and make some. And with the other ones I named, Chris Rock. Richard Pryor is just he takes one culture and gives it to another. And then with the last one that I named, which was Cedric the Entertainer, I like how he incorporates. I like the fact that his name is Cedric the Entertainer, which means, look, I'm a comic, but I'm much more. And I try to be like that as well. Plus, he's from St. Louis, which is where I'm from, so that's always a plus. And I can't remember who the other one. I think Eric Myers. I mean, just to watch him go from where he was to where he is great. He's energetic, loud, and punchline friendly, and so that's why I like them. Comedy is such a huge business. Like, stand-up is just one aspect of comedy, in my opinion. Like, if you watch there are some companies that are only successful because of their comedic advertisement. Like, Geico sucks, the service, but those commercials get you cracking up to the point where Progressive had to learn how to do it. Then Allstate and State Farm, all the insurance companies sell the insurance with comedy. And that's a way to get into business. There's also writers. On shows. You could just be a writer on a show, or you could be, a comedic writer for movies. There's so many different things. For me, I think that the ultimate goal would be to put myself in a position where I'm kind of like, Seth Rogen, where I can make a good movie that makes Hollywood say, yo, give him whatever he wants. And I would like to be able to make more than just comedic movies. Ultimately, I like to make movies that can depict some of the historical things, some things about history that I don't think have necessarily been portrayed. Like the story of, I'm really interested in doing a story about Hannibal of Carthage, who was one of the few black men in the past, or people of any race, to darn near put bring the Roman Empire to its knees in the years of their rule. And I think that's widely overlooked. Things like that I want to be able to make. And I also want to make more. I know Black Panther's hot right now, but I want to make more like Black comic book characters too. I want to make that a little more normal. So if I had if I had a magic wand, I could put myself in any position with the comedy, then it would be to be able to make motion pictures in Hollywood that have legitimacy, and then ultimately maybe segue that into doing some dramas and some historical movies as well. I see myself in a position where I have to turn down weeks of work because I'm getting too much. Like right now I have that, but there are gigs that, like tonight, I didn't have to do tonight. But Joe's a good friend of mine. It's not really necessarily someplace I would. If it wasn't Joe calling me, I probably wouldn't came out. Like he's a good friend of mine. But in 5 years, I see places like this. You're not gonna see me as much anymore. And it'll be a lot more comedy clubs, less one-nighters, more 3-4-nighters. Even though I do have a good chunk of them, I'd rather have. My goal is to have 40 weeks of each year booked solid, and those 12 I plan to just spend with the family that I have off. So that's where I see myself in 5 years, and hopefully with a movie credit or two, or maybe another TV credit or two, other than the BET thing, because nobody really cares about that anymore. I would like them to feel like they were involved. I want them to feel like they were not watching a comedy set on TV. I want them to be able to leave the show and say, remember when he asked me, or remember when he was talking to me, or I want them to feel like they enhanced the show, like they just saw something that they could not see anywhere else and would not have been the same if they saw it on TV. I want each crowd member to feel like they are a part of the show without trying to steal the spotlight from the show. So I think that, answer that question, I want them to feel included after they leave mine. I want them to feel thoroughly entertained, not just like they laughed a couple times. I want them to feel like they had to start to, like they didn't even notice that they were there for an hour and a half. It was like, it was just too fun. Just overwhelmingly entertained and included. That's how I like it. On my website, therealvincetaylor.com. I'm on Facebook.com/therealvincetaylor, Instagram @therealvincetaylor, Twitter @realvincetaylor, Periscope @realvincetaylor, Snapchat @realvincetaylor. What's up, y'all? It's the Real Vince Taylor, man. St. Louis representing, staying in the Orlando area now. Currently in Daytona Beach, Volusia County, with ACutiePie.com. Of course, my favorite website of all websites. Why you ain't there right now? Oh, you are there. Okay, well, why you ain't tell your friends to go there? Make sure y'all support this brother right here, man. I'm here in the building. I'll let your boy.